Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Oscar Buzz. Trevor here, joined by Thomas as always. And today we're talking about Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse, the long-awaited sequel to Spider-Man the Spider-Verse. And let me say, it's quite good. It's quite good. It's quite
It
good.
is. It is.
Also, the new #1 film of all time on Letterboxd, which is fascinating.
That is
That's
pretty insane. That is pretty
it
insane.
joins the likes of Parasite, Everything Ever All at Once, Harakiri, Come and See, and the Godfather movies.
Yeah. I mean, obviously it won't stay there. I think for me the big
Yeah.
question is, will it fall behind Spirited Away, which is currently the highest rated animated? It's at 4.5.
Yeah.
Like if it can stay above that, then we've got the best animated film of all time according to Letterboxd. So
yeah,
should be very fun.
Honestly, maybe deserve it's quite good. It's quite good. Let's get into it. So we're picking back up. We're focusing a lot more on Gwen this time, which I know that we were both a big fan of. Big Gwen heads over here. So we're following as Gwen, and then we get introduced back to Miles, and we kind of have this dual protagonist thing going on. And obviously, there's even more spider people, and we're expanding out. And it builds on the last one's themes a lot as far as like taking a step, and just makes them even more queer coded, which you love to see. I mean, do we talk about Gwen now?
Yes, I guess so. I mean, she is the protagonist of the film. Like, she's just as much protagonist as Miles Morales, which I'll say I loved. Like, I thought she was probably slightly more of an interesting character than Miles. And I think what really worked is them as a dual protagonist, like their stories sort of interconnecting and the themes that they're exploring, sort of weaving together. It was just very well done to see a film with these sort of dual protagonists.
No, absolutely. I mean, like all of her stuff with her dad as the cop is like very, very intriguing. And I mean, we can talk about it. It's been all over Twitter. I mean, it's very, very heavily implied that
I think it goes beyond implied. Like, I think it is just
Gwen is trans in this film, which love to see it. And I mean, like her entire world is pink, white, and blue, and like sure you can say, well, it's just the colors of her character in the universe, and that's how it's been before. It's like, well, maybe it's that way for a reason. I don't know. And like especially when she has like the trans flag in her room, and then her dad is wearing like as a cop wearing like a trans flag pin. Like, come on, it's very obvious, and just like she has this monologue, which I thought was the best moment of the film personally, where she talks about like having to like hide away part of yourself with your parents, and taking away that like piece of yourself, and what that does to you, and how you think about your parents, and like it was really, really beautifully done.
And I guess this is what I'm saying, like she for me has the most interesting stuff to do in this film. Not that Miles Morales doesn't undergo interesting sort of arcs and journeys himself, but I think a lot of the most interesting sort of thematic stuff, a lot of the most depth is given to her, which is great. It is really great to see but she's not only just sort of a canvas to throw themes, but she's also a really fun character that has a great dynamic with everyone around. Like it's just
fantastic, her voice work here, and so it's more with Miles. Like I don't want to be taken away from Miles.
I mean, all the voice. I mean, Daniel Kaluuya as well. Like great, perfect. Oscar Isaac, brilliant casting. So all of them are great.
So then as we're jumping from universe to universe, we see even more of this like very heavily impressionist an expressionist type of animation, where like especially with the Gwen stuff, like it's just like colors almost, and like it's like dripping paint off, like how it feels like it feels like it's like living and breathing like everything around the characters in this film. And it's just stunning to look at, like all the stuff with Hobie, Daniel Kaluuya's character, and like the newspaper clippings like popping up, and like I don't know, it's brilliant.
Yeah, I mean, I think for me, the watercolor, as you said, sort of animation style was my standout, but that is not to sort of negate the other styles. Like, I love the sort of Da Vinci style with the Vulture. I thought that was great.
Oh my God, yeah.
That was like perfect. And it was just like a short moment, but it was just another different animation style. I really appreciated the way it just sort of threw in every single like Lego stop motion animation.
Oh my God, yeah.
All of it. Yeah. They merged so well. Somehow the directors and everyone was able to craft like a realistic sort of world that in which all styles can converge on top of one another to sort of just create this sort of like canvas. It was just like
it's probably the best animation I think I've ever seen. Like it might just be the best
like
animation.
It's so much better. Like you see Disney trying to perfect photorealistic animation, and you're just like, but why does it have to be?
Don't be realistic. That's what we have live action for.
Yeah, like I don't know.
Yeah, no, for sure. And like, it's Jesus, like this movie, it's so overwhelming. Like I really want to see it again. But absolutely just stunning work from like the crafts team. And I do think that like the narrative is a bit overbloated. But like I was thinking about it, I genuinely don't care.
I mean,
Like,
even that, I think the narrative works for what it's trying to do. I think all the reveals. Are we getting into spoilers?
Sure, yeah, spoilers.
Yeah,
Spoilers.
I think all of the sort of reveals, like towards the end with Mars in a different reality, I thought all of those were hit at exactly the right point. It sort of slowly revealed all the elements until you get that sort of climactic reveal, and that happens several times throughout. Like, I think all of the narrative beats are in the right places. Perhaps they could have been, you know, compressed a little. I don't think we necessarily needed to spend so long within the sort of spider multiverse place. I thought that was actually, for me, the least interesting part of the film.
Yeah,
which I know for
that's
many that would be the most because it's got all the references and all of that kind of stuff. But I mean, I appreciated them.
I didn't really care. Like, again, we're into spoilers, right? Like Donald Glover showing up. Like, I don't.
But like,
as
someone who's not really into Spider-Man, like, I don't have any
like. I like
Spider-Man
as a character quite a bit. I don't care about different references and stuff
like they're fun.
Ben Reilly, and it's like, I don't know.
Yeah, I get some of them I don't get. But yeah, so potentially that could have been cut down a little. But equally, there is enough interesting stuff there to not, like, you're not bored throughout the film. Like, you're not checking your watch going, oh, hang on,
and just like just the animation stuff, like just like the visuals alone are just stunning enough to carry everything going on throughout the film.
And it's not just stunning as well, it's using the visuals to create comedy as well. Like, there are so many comedic moments that are created through the animation, like no dialogue is necessary when they're like crossing the bridge, and that was all very good. And yeah, so it's using the animation for not just the story, for not just see as a piece, but for the tone. It works across the tone.
I talk about films like, because like I care less about the narrative and like the creation of like a language. And like, and just like, you know, I'm someone who wants to be a director. That's just the way that I approach films. And I know you look at it more from like a screenwriting perspective. And I like to just, I love just like trying to understand like the directorial language. And I think it's fascinating how like films like the best films create their own language and then teach you how to speak it. And I think what both Into the Spider-Verse and this film did so well is that they made a language and the audience learns it within seconds, and it's genuinely one of the most like impressive pieces of directing like I've seen in the last couple of years, especially like probably the best animation directing, just like in the way that they create their own visual language in a matter of seconds by basically throwing all of these different languages into one.
Because I mean, it's even more impressive than just creating a language, because you are merging these sorts of all these elements, and that is what just makes it even more impressive. Comes across as a coherent voice. Like, you just have to sit back and just respect what they're going for both times. And the reason I think this one is slightly superior than even the first one, like, I like the first one, I really do, but it's not like I don't love it necessarily. I think this one just takes everything about the first one and just builds on it and just doubles down on it, and I really just respect that. And so
and it's only a part one, which is insane, and that's why I'm able to like forgive a couple of narrative things, because like again, like film it's an audiovisual medium, right? Like, you know, a lot of films incorporate storytelling throughout their audiovisual, but like, you know, you find storytelling and other things. The thing that's unique about films, and I think that's like why people are drawn to films, is that they are an audiovisual medium. That's what makes film as an art form so special. And I mean, what more could you want as an audiovisual piece of work? Like, I mean, this is even like one of the most like experimental pieces that we've seen in mainstream cinema, maybe like ever, as far as like a summer blockbuster film, to be doing like the experimentation and, you know, just blatantly like, you know, flying in the face of like basic formalism within film. Like, it just completely disregards all of it. And
like, it is doing all of
incredible.
These things. It is experimenting with film form and film techniques. Yet what I really appreciate as well was it never lost the fact that this is a film and this is meant to be entertaining. Like, this film never bored me. I was never like I thought, oh, the director's a bit, you know, they're trying to do something here. They're looking a bit pretentious, whatever. Like, the film maintains a sense of heart. It maintains a sense of it maintains a comedic style. And like, it was still, at the end of the day, despite all of these like amazing sort of technically impressive things, it was still a damn entertaining film. So like,
I mean, and that's just kind of the marriage of like our two personal tastes within films. I mean, I know you love, you know, the films that like are just like they like just really well told stories, you know, and just like, you know, they know the heart of the film, they get to the core emotions and everything, and like I like that too. But I also like the things that I'm most drawn to are just like, you know, like the art house experimental you know, very like expressionist, impressionist type of works that, you know, you'd see in the Criterion Collection, because like I'm pretentious. And I think like, you know, honestly, some of the best films marry those two things and marry kind of our two sensibilities. I mean, we saw that with like After Sun last year, where that very strongly like married our two sensibilities. And I think that this is a film that really marries those two sensibilities.
Oh, for sure. And I think like the reason I haven't given it 5 stars, maybe it's partly due to the sort of part 1 bias. Like I still want a complete, satisfying story. Like I think it delivered a complete enough story, but you know, like it is still does leave it on a cliffhanger. But I think it's also part due to just the overwhelming nature of it. I mean, this is the same thing I sort of felt with a film like Everything Everywhere All at Once. I came out of this film and Everything Everywhere All at Once with very similar feelings, which is, you know, a pretty good sign.
Yeah.
So yeah, I definitely want to go and rewatch it, sort of pick up an element I missed and sort of just, you know, allow myself to sit back a bit more and just take it all in. So that's the only reason like I didn't come out initially going, yes, 10 out of 10, perfect film, whatever.
Yeah.
But,
well, I came out of it feeling like even lower than that, but like just the more I sat with it, and I was just like that is what film is. Like that's what film should be. Like just pure expression, like artistic expression, and that is really what this is. And also just like Spider-Gwen, probably my favorite like superhero, like on screen, you know, superhero character, and like ever, maybe, like just such a fascinating character.
And I really love the way as well, it's sort of, I mean, it deconstructs the superhero genre. Like, obviously, everyone's talked about to death about superhero fatigue, this and that, but it genuinely did a thing for me that, like, The Dark Knight did as well, where it really deconstructs the idea of superheroes, what they mean.
For the world.
And
but it's self-aware about it, but not in an annoying way.
Yeah, no, for sure. And I think, that's just a really interesting route to go down, exploring, like, what it means to be a hero, what it means to be a villain, where do those lines blur? It's like, is it Miles's fault that all of this happened? Potentially, like you as an audience are allowed to sort of question these aspects and not just look at a character and go,
it isn't clear cut. This is, you know, it isn't clear cut. This is hero and this is villain. And like, I don't know, like this is like, why aren't all superhero movies like this? Like, listen, we are very harsh on superhero movies typically here, and it's just like make superhero movies art. So many superhero movies feel like content. Yeah. And this was the first superhero film in a while that felt like actual art. Jesus, what a film. Let's talk about awards briefly. I feel like this could be Best Picture. I'm just gonna throw it out there.
Yeah. I mean, we've talked pretty extensively off screen. Like, there's no reason it shouldn't be.
Box office.
I mean, this is going to be the real test as to whether the Academy has an animation bias. Like, people said, oh, if GDT's Pinocchio doesn't get in, there you go. Like, that was never realistically going to get in. First of all, it was a great film. But secondly, it was never really going to get in. This one, like, if this doesn't get in, it really does demonstrate that, okay, is any animated film going to get it ever?
Right.
I know that before.
Like the biggest things in Toy Story 3, genuinely, in that it's like audience support, critic support, massive box office success, like it has everything. And like other like, you know, pre-festival releases recently, things like Black Panther, Get Out, something like I don't know. I mean, Everything Ever All at Once last year. I mean, Grand Budapest Hotel, things like that. Mad Max Fury Road, like. They feel like they were doing something different and new and kind of reinventing it. Like that's all you're hearing about this, is that like this is like revolutionary. It's like a radical piece of art. And like, you know, if it has the passion from critics and audiences and box office, plus it's Sony's, you know, main thing to campaign, like
it's their only thing, realistically.
It's really their only thing, and it has this like it's asking to be voted for. Like it feels like a monumental film, like something that will be studied for ages. Like it feels like a seminal point of animation, like a major work.
And the thing is, you can couple it as well with other nominations. Like I genuinely think adapted screenplay would be deserving and is incredibly
especially like a weak adapted screenplay field. Like it can absolutely and easily happen.
And then you've also got technical nominations, as we talked about, like visual effects potentially.
Score by Pemberton, fantastic.
Score would definitely be deserving. Like the score in this film was great. Like the way they again, it's merging the styles. It's the way they're bringing all of these elements together and sort of creating this whole new thing out of the parts. So, yeah.
No, I mean, like sound as well. I know there's been some like controversy around the sound, but like
I'll be honest, it's the opening monologue for me. I couldn't hear a word of it. It didn't really matter because it was only in the opening sort of 3 minutes. Like I had problems. I know other people have been sort of having problems later. With
I mean, it was mixed for Dolby, but like the sound mixing overall was like really incredible. And like the sound editing is like even better, like really, really stunning work. Like I could see it at least making the short list if this is really, I don't know. Like I'm trying to find arguments against it, but like everything things that like, you know, part one, okay, well, Dune just happened, you know, animated. Toy Story 3 was able to do it early release. Okay, that's happened. Superhero movies happened. Like all of these things, like other films have overcome before, and it feels right. Like it feels like it's gonna happen. I mean, also worth noting, the only other two films and I know it's Letterboxd, right? I know it's Letterboxd, but the only other two films that have been released since the start of Letterboxd that reached the #1 spot were Parasite and Everything Ever All at Once. What those two movies do, win Best Picture. I don't think that this is gonna win Best Picture. Like, no, it's not gonna win Best Picture. But that does signal well for a nomination, because you know what that means. What did Parasite and Everything Ever All at Once said? Like an insane amount of passion. And if anything's going to break the animation barrier, like it would be that level of passion.
Plus, I think it's also important to note that, yes, we say it's only Letterboxd. Letterboxd is good at representing a sort of potential younger sort of passion for films.
I mean, once again, Everything Ever All at Once, that was the first place where
Everything Ever All at Once came from the sort of I don't like using the word generation because I feel like kind of pointless, but Gen Z appreciation, and then it sort of worked its way up. So like this film could definitely follow a similar path. Like we've seen the Oscar, the Academy members be expanded.
It can absolutely. We didn't even. It's going to win animated feature, by the way. Like it's just obviously going to win animated feature.
Oh
like,
yeah, I mean, like unless How Do You Live is like an 100 on Metacritic or whatever.
Right,
like,
right. And even then, I still feel like it would be this. But like
even then, yeah.
But like I don't know, like animated feature, you know, adapted screenplay, you know, potentially VFX, potentially score, maybe. I mean, Best Picture can easily happen. I shouldn't say easily, but I feel weirdly confident about it because everything about it just feels right. Like it just feels right.
Yeah. There is no reason why it shouldn't.
So we have an under 10, and you'll see that reflected in our upcoming Oscars predictions. So stick around for that. But yeah. Fantastic film, and I honestly think it will be rewarded for just how good it is.
Yeah, I mean, when you hear me compare it to films like The Dark Knight and Everything Everywhere at Once, you know you're in sort of good company. If you're looking at ratings, I'd be looking at probably a 9.5 out of 10, and that's only due to like if I rewatch it, I could see it going up to 10. It's easy the best Spider-Man film in my opinion. It's easy the best animated film of, I don't know, you'd have to go back. I love Toy Story 3, but that's for nostalgic reasons.
Like since Toy Story 3.
Like, probably since Toy Story 3, genuinely. So yes, like
I'm throwing it a 10. I'm giving it a 10. This is such a special film. What a picture. Cinema. Well, that's it. That is a review of Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse. Make sure you stick around for the aforementioned Oscars predictions, in addition to Emmys predictions and plenty of other film and awards coverage throughout the summer. You know, we got Transformers Rise of the Beasts next week.
And we've got Elemental over here, so that's another animated bar.
Well, you'll do Elemental. I'll do. We'll do Transformers together. I'm making you watch that. We're gonna review together. Yes.
You should make me do the Flash as well. It's like homework.
Well, I'm not gonna pay for the Flash, but
yeah.
I'll be buying another ticket for Spider-Man and then going into
and Transformers.
It's summer. Hey, we're gonna get rewarded with Barbie. Yeah, and Oppenheimer, I guess, if you're into that.
And Indiana, well, they're not Indiana Jones.
Anyways, but plenty more things to come on the channel. Plenty more things, lots of fun things. But thank you everybody for watching. And you can find all of our social media and stuff in the description. But until next time, stay safe, everybody, and goodbye.